Started.
Awesome.
Okay, everybody, this is Renee with 31 Women, and I am honored and excited to have Pastor Lisa. Tell me your last name so I don't mispronounce it.
Shawl.
Shawl,
Shawl.
like
Yes.
y'all, but SH,
Yeah.
Shawl. I
Yeah.
can do that. Shawl. All
Shawl.
right. So we've got Pastor Lisa Shaull on with us today, all the way from the great state of.
Washington,
Okay. Stay
the
centered
Pacific
with auto
Northwest.
framing. I don't know what that means, but we're going to do that. Okay. So, as you know, with 31 Women, every single time that we do a podcast, our focus is everyday women living everyday lives, doing exceptional things for Christ. And so that means all of us, we are not
Yes.
necessarily, that would be my dog. Um, we I had to go and see what he was doing. In case y'all wondered if I'm country or not, yes, I am. That is my dog, and he did bay or bark because he thinks something is in the yard. And my doors are open because it's beautiful here in the state of
Oh,
Georgia
nice.
right now.
Nice.
Is it still warm up there?
It is not warm in Washington. Well, the sun is shining today, though. There is no rain. Let's see what the temperature says here. 54. So actually, that's a pretty nice day for Washington.
Okay, yeah, I think it's about 75 here in Georgia.
75.
So,
Yeah,
and it's
maybe not.
over, yeah, it's overcast. So I just leave my doors open.
We
And
will
I don't
not
even,
see 75 again until next year, all
oh,
the way
wow. We may
July
have
or
75
so.
degrees at Christmas. We just never know.
Wow.
So we never know. But anyway, Pastor Lisa Shaull from the great state of Washington.
Yes.
And I'm going to dive right into it. Tell me a little bit about where you come from, what kind of family you grew up in,
Sure.
and maybe some of the early parts of your life.
So I'm actually from Washington. I haven't been here my whole life. Like I left and then I came back. So I was raised in Washington, in a Christian home, Christian parents, Christian family. So I was in church every time the door opened and every time there was a revival service, I was there. Got called
Okay.
to the ministry at a very young age. I got saved, officially saved. Well, I asked Jesus in my heart when I was 5 at
Okay.
Vacation Bible School, but I got radically saved at age 10 at kids camp when I was
Okay.
also baptized with the Holy Spirit at age 10. And then I came back to church and got baptized in water. And then 2 years later, I was at a missions convention, an adult missions convention in the kids' room, and they were showing the adult video was on the big screen, and there was harvest wheats flowing up and kids coming into the screen all over the place, and tears were just streaming down my face. And it was called the Whosoever, and it said, "Whosoever will go, who will go, who will
Right.
go." And I was like,
Right.
"I'll do it, I'll do it,
Yeah.
I'll go." But I didn't know what I was saying. I had no idea. So I went
Yeah,
to my
you were just wanting
pastor.
to go. Hey, it doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter what. I just want to go. Yes, I'll go. You know,
I went to my
that's
pastor, and I was like,
allegorical for
"Yeah,
life.
yeah."
Yeah.
I went to my pastor, and I said, "I watched this video, and tears are streaming down my face." And he goes, "Well, you have just been called to the ministry. Congratulations." And I was like, "I've just been what?"
And how
You
old
have
were
just
you?
been. I was 12 and a half, almost
12 and a
13.
half at that
Yeah.
time, and the pastor
Yeah.
told you you'd been called into the
Yeah.
ministry. Hmm.
And he took
How
me
about
under
that?
his wing. And that's when I began like going to missions trips. So I went on my first missions trip at age 13 to Mexico. And then I just began to just really even dive more into Jesus and my
How many
relationship
mission trips
with
have you
him.
been on to
Oh
date?
my gosh. I knew you were going to ask that question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think 10, but I'm not for sure. But I want to say
Okay. And how
6 or
many different countries have you visited to
7.
date?
Haiti, Mexico, Spain, France. Five? Five, I
Okay.
think.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you've been on 10 mission trips in 5 countries, you went to two
Yes.
trips per country,
Mexico
pretty
a couple
much.
of times and
Yeah.
Haiti a couple of times. Yeah.
Okay. And so 12 and a half, you started going on mission trips at 13 years old.
Yeah.
And from there, how many did you go on before you actually finished high school?
Uh, I went on my first one when I was 13, and then I went on a one complete 13 with my youth group, and then again 15 with my youth group. But when I was 16, again sitting in a youth convention, showing the big screen on the big screen, huge youth convention, tons of people. They showed this video for an opportunity to go to Barcelona, Spain during the Olympics and do kids ministry. Tears streaming down my face, heart pounding at my chest.
Yeah.
But the amount was incredible. It was like $2,700 or 3,000, something that a 16-year-old does not have. Funds
Right,
that a
right.
16 doesn't
Did
have.
you get sponsored for those, for
I
all your
did, and
trips?
my father is amazing. My dad actually hosted a spaghetti dinner for me, and
Oh,
I sent out letters and did. Back then you couldn't really do videos. You didn't have a cell phone, so
right,
letters
right.
and
We're
phone
telling our
calls.
age. We're telling our age.
No, don't rage now. I'm older than I look. Okay, I'm older than I look. And so yes, so God made a way for me to go there, and that was life-changing for me. I went by myself, and then met one of my very best friends there, and we just had a blast. And I did kids ministry, I did puppets, clowning, drama. Um, loved Always loved the Spanish language. Still, I'm learning Spanish now, so always loved that. Loved the culture. Just had a blast. I had a blast. It was 10 days. It was
Yeah.
fabulous. Yeah, my
I think,
first, talk about
yeah.
traveling. That was some serious traveling as a 16.
Yeah, it definitely was. And it ignited such a passion in you for ministry. So I
Yeah.
know after high school, you wanted to get your degree. Tell me what you got,
Yes.
what you were doing
So,
then.
yeah, I enrolled in wanted to go to actually back when I was 13, I my youth pastor said, "Well, there's a college, it's called Northwest College, and it's about 2 or 3 hours away from here, and we think it'd be a really great place for you to go." And I'm like, "Okay." And so the admissions person would come, and she would sing, and she would do her little speech, and so we became really great friends. We're still friends to this day. Um, and she was a great part of me getting into that school.
Right,
Just age 13. She's like, "Yeah, let's make it a goal for you to get there." And so I didn't get there until I was almost 19, because um, that's just the Lord's plan. But I went through a rough year in between there, where normally I wanted to go right after I graduated from high school, but I didn't have the funds. And so I was really angry and really upset. And so
right.
I went through this period of being angry at God and upset, and wasn't a happy time in my life.
Yeah,
But I,
no, none of the rest of us know anything about being angry with God at some point during our walk with Him. Isn't it funny how we think that God can't handle things like that? But He's big enough to handle every temper tantrum that we throw. I mean,
yes,
He calls us His children for a
yes,
reason.
yep,
I don't love my children less because they I don't love my children less if they don't love me back.
right,
But He's big enough, so he let you throw your temper tantrum for a whole
yep.
year.
Let me
And
throw my temper
then,
tantrum. And
yeah,
then at the end, made it possible for me to, with my parents' help, of course, with the PLUS loan and federal grant, federal aid and all that, I was able to start college at 19. And I thought I was going into just teaching. I didn't really, because I didn't declare a major as a major. I just declared, okay, I'm going in, so I'm gonna get a degree in teaching. Well, that didn't
right,
fly like that. No, God made that very clear to me by the end of first semester that I was going the wrong direction. So, and he did that by I joined and started the first children's ministry team at Northwest College. Like, if you go to a Bible school, there are ministry teams that will go and they will minister to youth in youth conventions, camps,
right.
organizations. So the group of friends, three friends of mine, we decided, well, let's try to create one for children. Well, no one had ever seen that. They never heard of that. It was out of the box for everybody. So I'm an out of the box person. So
No, say it's not so.
we created
I
this
would have
group, and
never guessed. I would have never guessed.
we called it Peanut Butter and Jesus. So we were the Peanut Butter and Jesus group. And because
Cute.
we had never, yeah, because we had never been part of the college, they had never they didn't have like complete confidence that we would be able to do what we could do. So they
Right.
gave us a van and they said, here's a van, we'll pay for your gas, but they wouldn't pay for anything else. So the four of us girls lived on faith and peanut butter, literally peanut
Yeah.
butter and ramen as we traveled all summer sharing Jesus. And so it was at the end of the summer that Jesus snapped me out of it. And I had been dealing with this child who was considered the roughest child at the family camp at Miracle Ranch here in Washington. And so we were there for 3 weeks in a row. And so he was with me 3 weeks. And he was one of those troubled children that just
Yeah.
couldn't get it straight.
Those
And,
are,
but
for a lot of people, they don't want to deal. Those are always my favorite. They're always it's like my heart just goes out to them.
Well, that's
My
probably
heart
why
just
the
goes out
Lord
to
gave
them.
me an autistic son now. So because he knew back then I could handle it, and so here I'm handling my autistic son as well. At the end of that, the parents came, and they would bring gifts or they would bring whatever because she'd been with their kids for 3 weeks, and they're like, well, twice the parents were like, well, what major do you have? And I said, oh, I'm going into education. Oh, no, no, you should be like a counselor or a minister or something. And that word kept coming to me. And so I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. But I had already finished a semester of college. So it's not like I wanted to go another further, longer.
Right, right,
And so I was like, okay, Lord, if this is your plan, then hopefully all these classes will pan through and I'll declare a different major that you want. And so
right.
let's do this. And another confirmation came. They have those orientations for you when you're doing your class. And I'm sitting in the orientation for teaching, and my stomach is hurting, and I just am like wanting to cry because it's like, I don't want to do this. I do not
Right.
want to do, I am not. Everyone's like happy and they're clapping and they're excited. I'm like, get me out of here as fast as possible. What did I sign up for? This is not what I signed up for. So, yes, I went to my counselor and I was like, look, I need to change my major. I want to go into ministry. And she's like, okay. So I changed from education to church ministries, children's ministries. So my degree is a Bachelor of Arts in Church Ministries, Children's Ministries. And I almost had a focus on missions because I love missions, obviously, but I didn't want to go another half of a year. I was just done. So,
Right, right. So
um,
let's fast forward. Tell me how many churches you've served in throughout your time frame in
yeah,
ministry. Because you've been in the ministry now,
yes.
technically, since your first mission trip at 13.
Yeah, technically. I mean, yes.
Technically. So
Yeah.
so how many churches after you got your degree? I don't want to discount what you did before and while you
Yes.
were earning your
Yes.
degree, because those things do count. They're training ground. They're you touched a lot of lives and
I
all of that. Who
served
knows
two
how
churches
many are
while
gonna,
I served two churches while I was in college, and then I
yeah.
served um three churches before I came back here to Washington and God changed my direction.
All
So,
right, so let's talk about what you're doing now. I know that we've got just a little bit of time. I know that because we did some talking beforehand. So y'all, I'm just gonna give you a synopsis and let Pastor Lisa fill it in. But God dealt with you to be a foster parent. And so you did that
yes.
as well.
Yes.
And through that, you wound up with two daughters and a son.
Yes.
And so now are all three children special needs or
Yes.
just the two?
All
All
three.
three are special
Yep.
needs in different ways.
Yep.
And you and your husband adopted these three children.
Yes.
Yes. And you guys are parenting them as well as continuing on in the ministry now. So
Yes.
tell me, how old are your children now and what you're doing in the ministry now?
My oldest daughter is 23. She has Down syndrome, and
Okay.
she lives here at the house. We have a special room for her, like an apartment for her. So she
Okay.
lives right down the hallway from me.
Okay.
And then I have a 17-year-old daughter, and she has ADHD, anxiety, depression, social anxiety. And then through adoption, through fostering 18 boys before in
Yes.
2 years, one of those
Wow.
boys became our
Wow.
son. He's 7.5. and he has autism level 2. So he's our biggest challenge at the moment. Not to say they all didn't have their challenging moments, but right now he is the one that is pulling me every direction but one.
Right,
So
right. Well, you have all that energy from just being a boy, and then you throw in the other challenges. That's a lot,
it's a
to
lot.
say the least. That's a lot. So thank you for loving and sharing your heart with so many people throughout the years. How many children have you and your husband fostered all together? I know you said 18 boys,
Uh,
but there were others as
18,
well.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, probably around 32 maybe ish.
32 children that you fostered in your
Yeah.
lifetime. That
As
is
well as
amazing.
it's not as much as, I mean, I have friends that have fostered hundreds of people, hundreds of children,
I'm
but I
trying
mean
not
it
to
was
cry. I really am. I'm trying. I fostered
oh,
one,
yeah,
and that was all that I could foster. My biological children did not like the process, and
yeah,
so they were preachers' kids already, and
yeah,
so they felt like home was the only place where they didn't have to serve and give, and so
yeah,
having someone that
that
was
makes
them,
sense.
and
Yeah,
I didn't disagree with them at the time. It
yeah,
was just maybe the wrong time, right thing, wrong time for
right,
us.
yeah.
But you guys fostered 32. That is
That's in a
so
matter of
amazing.
like, so we started in 20, let's see, we got Jazzy in 2004, and then then we fostered shortly after that, 2006. So from 2006
Right.
to we closed our license in 2017, but we weren't foster parents that whole time. It was just like
Right,
in
right. Well, they come
right.
and go, as you have needs. So what are you doing in the ministry now, in addition to ministering to your children? What are you doing now? Because I know God has laid some things on your heart,
Yeah.
and he kind of almost did like a 90-degree shift on you,
Yes.
um, throughout some things, and you
Yes.
wound up where you are now, doing what you're doing now. So go ahead and share that with me.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I was in full-time ministry for over 17 years, and kind of just got tired in the ministry and tired and just kind of wanted to come back home to Washington because we were in California for 12 years, two churches, 5 years, 5 years,
Minister
5 years.
burnout is real. It's a
And
real thing.
then we moved from California to Michigan, and we were in Michigan for 5 years. And Michigan is quite a distance from Washington, where my parents are.
Right.
But also God had just begun to just kind of just shift me and just kind of just be like, I've got bigger things for you, bigger. And I was like, wow, what are you talking about? And that was happening way back, 10 years ago.
I think we
I
should
mean,
stop and say before the shift that in addition to all of the foster care that you did and everything else, with your degree in children's ministry, you actually served in the churches that you were in. You were the children's pastor
yes,
or over the children's
yes,
ministry multiple times for churches of all different sizes. And
yes.
so it wasn't just that you were a lay
Oh,
servant in the
I was
church.
paid. Yeah.
You were paid staff in churches, and that was your full-time career
Yes,
choice, with all of the responsibility that goes along with that.
yes.
So you were in Michigan for 5 years. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want to
No,
make sure that the people
yeah.
understand where you're coming from. And it
Yeah,
was
it was
very
my
different.
full-time
Yeah,
work for 17 years, did nothing but full-time kids ministry. I was totally in charge of children from 0 all the way to 6th or 7th grade, depending on the format of the church. That
right.
means all the volunteers, all the programs, all the vacation Bible schools,
Hmm.
anything extracurricular, Harvest Fest, water events, you name it, it happened. So yes, I was in
Right,
charge of all of those. Lots of managing of volunteers, coaching them in different areas, different
right.
ways. Yeah, all various different sizes. The first church I served was less than 500. The second church was over 3,000, and so on and so forth. So yeah, all
Wow.
different sizes
Yeah,
of church.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
God's really used you in so many different ways, Lisa. He really
Yes.
has.
And I
Um,
also served on district for the district, which is the head of the churches. So I taught seminars, conferences,
that's my
preached.
favorite thing to do.
So yeah, me too. Love
That's
to
my
do
favorite.
that. Preaching and teaching the gospel of Jesus. Teaching and preaching is my favorite. Love to
Right. Yeah.
preach about Jesus. So yeah,
So you went to Michigan and God started giving you this transition and shift
yeah,
and where he wanted
mhm.
you to go and what he wanted you to do. And you guys came back to Washington. Tell me what happened when you got back to Washington and where you are now in the
Sure.
ministry, what you're doing now.
So when I got back to Washington, I was a little tired and a little weary, and but I love ministry, and so I jumped back in and I found a church here locally, and I served a church locally for a 1 year, part-time, paid part-time for the first time in my life. I had never
Okay.
been part-time anything. And but that wore me out quickly because it was a startup church and we had to tear down, set up. So I got tired and I actually got shingles and got very sick. And my husband said, "No, they're not paying you enough. You're worth more than that. Why don't you let me go back to work and you figure out for once and for the first time what it's like to be a stay-at-home mom and all that stuff." So
Right.
I had never been a stay-at-home mom my whole entire life, my whole entire parent life. It takes a village to raise children. For us, we had amazing people all in the churches, all that just helped us raise our kids and love on our kids. And God bless all of them. They know who they are. We love you so much. Um, Came back here to Washington, and I was kind of like, I felt like kind of like Humpty Dumpty, kind of broken and kind of like, who am I and what am I? And so really God just kind of had to just put me back together and kind of tell me who he made me to be. And but through that he said, I'm going to, you've been asking for a son for years, and so look out because I'm going to bring you boys. So
Oh, wow.
and go ahead and restart your license again. I know you closed it in Michigan to go, or California. Actually, we didn't
Right.
foster in Michigan because we were raising my niece for a year and a half in Michigan. So that's why
Okay.
we foster, because we had guardianship of my niece for a little bit. Um, and I said, okay, so we took the foster parent classes and did the whole thing, and we became foster parents. And sure enough, God brought boys to us. We had boy after boy after boy. And it was crazy and it was
Yeah.
fun. And
Loud. I can
yeah,
imagine how loud it
loud
was.
and
Yeah.
no sleep. And it was madness. And but through that, I began to learn what it was like to minister to these biological moms, and begin to let them know that that I wasn't against them, or that that I was with them and trying to help them any way I can. Some of them
Right.
responded well, some of them did not, and it is
Yeah.
what it is. That's the system for you. But also, when you are a foster parent, if you're watching this and you are a foster parent, you know that you are watched like a hawk. And so that's what happened to our family. We were falsely accused so many times that we got exhausted from being falsely accused. And so at the end of the time, when it was time for us to renew, um, we tried to say, well, we tried to fight all of them, but some of them, I mean, they were false, but then they also give you marks on your record. And I didn't want that. And I really didn't want anything that anybody said to damage the ministry that God had in store for me. And it could
Right.
if they twisted the words or said something wrong. So I said, for the sake of my ministerial license, I can't do this anymore. And for the sake of the call that God has on my life, this can't happen anymore. And so we wanted to foster more boys under the age of 5 and be relicensed for that, but they wouldn't let us. They said, well, you can take older kids. And I said, I've already got older kids. I got 2 beautiful girls that are older that have special needs. I'm good. I'm good. And so that was God closing that door, because he was going to begin to shift me into becoming a life coach, and me not really even knowing what that meant. What is a life coach? So in a dream, he put a big word, life coach, and just began to just soften my heart towards what it meant to be a life coach. But I had no idea. And I had only used like Facebook and social media to just like communicate with my friends, not knowing that you could do it for a business and all of these things. And so what I had to do is I had to go back to school, because I was like, okay, God's calling me to this. I'm not really familiar with it necessarily. So yeah, we have invested thousands of dollars to get me to where I am today. And I'm not even done. I'm investing one more time. In January, I'm starting a speaking school so that I can learn how to become a national worldwide speaker. So, yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's very exciting. And I know that you are personally, right now, you're being featured on several different podcasts, not just mine, but God has opened several doors for you, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
And you are finishing up with all of your preparations so that you can launch. For me, I have found the launching is the hardest part
Yes.
because there's so much technicality to it. And that is not my natural wheelhouse. That is not my natural. I have no problem talking to people. I have no problem being up in front of a crowd. Doesn't
Yes.
matter how big it is.
Yes.
And those are strengths. But the technical side of things has been a learning curve for me, and I'm still learning. And every now and again, my oldest daughter lives close to me, so she'll come by after work sometimes, and I'll have supper ready. And, I love that. I absolutely adore that. And
Mhm.
she'll say, Mom, you're just going to have to get in there and do it. You're going to have to quit putting it off and just get in there and
Yeah.
do it. And I'm like, I know that. I'm well
You know
aware,
she's right.
but
You know
not today. Not today. So, but I am doing, I do things every day, but it is not an easy task. It really
no,
isn't.
it's
Well,
not.
tell me how people can get in touch with you, what your next steps are, because we're just about out of
Sure.
time. But tell me how people can get in touch with you, what your next steps are. Do you have a website? Where
Sure.
are you on social media so that they can find you and reach out to you? You may have some wonderful case studies while you're in
Yes.
your practicum
Oh,
of life coaching.
yeah. The best way to find me is on Facebook. Just Lisa Shaull, and just send me a
Spell
DM.
shawl
Shaull.
because it's not, like I said,
Right.
shawl.
Yes.
It is, but just in case, Shaull.
Shaull. Yeah. And
Right.
send me a DM.
Okay.
I have a book out. It's called Prayers of the Anxious Heart. It's 17 prayers for the Christian woman that I'm really
Okay.
excited about.
All right.
And I'm in the process of writing another one on walking in spiritual authority. So
Oh,
these
amazing.
are things
Okay.
that are
Awesome.
coming on the pipeline. And
Where
yeah, I
can
also
people
have
find your book?
they can find my book by messaging me privately.
Okay.
Just message me privately and I will give you the link to my book.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and
And
I
they
would love to
can,
get it out to you. And
okay.
also, I have a YouTube channel. So once just message me and I will give you the link to all of those things.
Okay. All
So
right. If you will, go ahead and give me, I think I'm pretty sure that we're connected on YouTube, but just in case, go ahead and DM me your YouTube channel because I'm not
okay.
sure if we're connected on YouTube or not. I think we are, but just in case. And
Yeah.
everybody, just so that y'all know, Lisa's interview will come out on November the 24th, so you can watch it on loop, help bump up her numbers and mine.
Yes.
And Lisa, thank you so much for your time today. And thank you for the work that you have done in the kingdom of God 10 mission trips, 5 different countries, all of the things that you have done stateside, all the churches that you've served in. I can't wait to find you in heaven just to see how many people come to you and say
Oh,
thank you for giving to the Lord. What an exciting
thank
adventure
you.
you have lived. And I appreciate your
Yes.
time today.
Oh,
Do you have
thanks for
anything
having
you want to
me.
say before we close out the podcast?
I just wanna bless all of you in the name of Jesus and let you know that, following Jesus is the greatest choice that you can make. I
Yes,
know
it
that
is.
I know that life can be hard sometimes, but being in the center of God's will is the best place to be. And sometimes
Amen.
that doesn't make sense and it doesn't financially make sense. It doesn't uh in our minds make sense, but Ephesians 3:20, no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind can conceive what God has in store for those who call him. So bigger and
Amen.
better. Yeah.
Amen. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Lisa. And until we get together next time, I do try to keep up with everyone in a log so that a year from now, I can reach back out and see where you have gone in one year.
Oh
So
Lord.
I'm trying to do that for everybody. No pressure. It's just the excitement of it to see where God has led all of us because 31 Women is about women encouraging women in the faith. We're
I love
all
what you're doing.
working
I love your podcast. I love
in
what
the
you do.
kingdom.
All
Thank
the
you.
excitement and just blessing everybody and amen. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, until next time, we love you very much and we are much in prayer for you. And you guys make sure to put Pastor Lisa Shaull on your prayer list. Okay. So until
Yes.
next
Thank
time,
you.
we'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.